This is the 2015 USAFL National Championships Seeding Spectacular. Hello everyone, I'm Brian Barrish from USAFL.com. After 6 months of football, it has all come down to this, the 2015 USAFL National Championships to be played at Onion Creek Soccer Park in Austin, Texas. A total of 45 clubs across a record 6 divisions. That's right, we'll have 2 women's divisions this year. More on that in a moment. But 45 teams will be heading to the capital of Austin, Texas, for what should be yet another great weekend of footy, the 18th rendition of this national championships. Here to help describe and call these seedings with me is the head coach of the U.S. Revolution national team and head coach of the Denver Bulldogs, Tom Ellis. Tom, how you doing tonight? Thanks for joining us, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm pretty excited.
I know, this is really exciting, and really excited that we get a chance to actually do this. It's sort of like the NCAA tournament with the announcement of the brackets and everything. So that's sort of what we were going here for tonight. But this is an exciting night. The teams get to find out who they play in a couple weeks of Austin. Really looking forward to it, as I know you are as well.
Yeah, it all starts with somewhere, right? At some point, so that's what we're doing.
Awesome. Well, here we go. So what's going to happen, as I mentioned, we have 4 men's divisions and 2 women's divisions. We're going to go back and forth between the men and the women during the course of this show. So sit back, relax, gather around the computer, and let's name some teams. But first, let's break down the seeding criteria that was used by the USAFL seeding committee for both the men and the women. They took season record into play as well as past performance at nationals. The USAFL Top 20 ranking, which will come out a little bit later on this week, we'll make that public for you, as well as some club preferences were used as well. Teams did get a chance to really just sort of give an idea as far as what division they wanted to play. And the seeding committee took all of this into consideration when coming up with the seeding. So that's sort of how we got to where we are. It's worth mentioning that the seeding, there is overall seeding in play for each of the men's divisions, well, and the women's divisions as well. We'll get to that in just a second. Let's begin, well, at the beginning with the Division 1 for the men. Just a quick refresher of the format for Nationals weekend. This is across Divisions 1, 2, and 3 for the men only. There will be 8 teams in each division. 2 pools of 4 teams each. They'll play a round robin for a total of 3 games, and the winners of each pool will face off in the grand final on Sunday. It's worth noting, by the way, that the seedings for the men's divisions, Pool A will have seeds 1, 4, 5, and 8 in of the division, and Pool B will have seeds 2, 3, 6, and 7. All right, formalities out of the way. Here we go. The seedings for Division 1 of the men's USAFL National Tournament. The top seed overall and the top seed in Pool A are the Austin Crows, who ended the season as the number 1 team in the country, and will be hosting this tournament. And every year that they've hosted it, they've won. They won the Division 2 title back in 2011, and of course won the Division 3 title back in Division 1 title rather back in 2013. Kenrick Tyrell leads a high-powered offense of this Crows team, Tommy, and you know all about them from the Central Regionals when they played very well, but came out winners in that game against you.
Yeah, they've got some great Australians, but they also have some really good Americans. They've got guys that have just started their first year that look fantastic, so they're going to be tough.
Yeah, they're going to be a good team, and they'll have the home crowd in front of them. The second seed in Pool A, the Los Angeles Dragons, a team that has really come on strong. They're the defending Division 2 champions from last year, having defeated Columbus. John Fragomeni's men have played a very tough bunch of teams out in the western region, and most importantly, the Orange County Bombers, last year's runners-up. They have 2 consecutive wins over the last month. And Tommy, this Dragons team is for real. You could make the argument that they should have been in Division 1 a couple years ago, but they're playing very good football.
Yeah, I saw them out there at the regionals in Sacramento, and they got some really good talent coming up, and they just needed more game time, and they've got a great coach teaching them the right way, and they're going to look good.
Yeah, very good, very good. And they've got a good ruckman in Donald Lee, big, strong ruckman. They got a row for him, and they'll play well. The third seed in Pool A are the Calgary Kangaroos. Lachlan Griffiths and company leads this group from out north that always seems to put up a good fight at nationals and always seems to be considered among the favorites, Tommy.
Yeah, we played them a few times, and you just don't know what you're going to get with them. Nobody sees them. So it's a surprise for everyone.
Yeah, Canada and just in general is a giant mystery. So, especially when it comes, well, I was going to say especially when it comes to the Kangaroos, not in footy in general. They're pretty good as a whole. And rounding out Pool A are the Golden Gate Roos. The Roos have had an up and down season, but really finished on a bit of a kick. Well, it wasn't the finish, but they won the Stumptown Throwdown. That's a mouthful, and they complete Division One. They are still looking for the first. I want to say it's the first time that they would make it to the grand final since they were the Santa Cruz Roos back in the late '90s. But the Roos, very interesting because they're a metro team, and they also a bunch of metro teams, and they all seem to come together at the end and put together good football.
Yeah, I played against those Roos back in the day, but they are definitely a really good team, and they've got a lot of American talent. Some of the best Americans are on that team, so I'm looking to see a breakout from them.
Manley Johnson among them, and Brian Dragus, of course. This may be the breakout year for them. So Austin, LA, Calgary, and Golden Gate are in Pool A. Let's move over to Pool B. And the top seed of Pool B, the second overall seed in this Division I draw, the defending national champions, the New York Magpies, who will come in looking for their third national championship. They've too have had, it's been a bit of a recovery season since Glenn Ormsby stepped down as coach. They lost to Fort Lauderdale in the Eastern Regionals. They lost to Austin in the Central Regionals, and they were almost picked off by Dallas at home, but still a very good side led by Captain Mike Murphy.
Yeah, I mean, it's still New York. They still are who they always have been, and they've got a really good core group of guys. They just didn't travel as well. I don't think this year I saw them out at the Central Regional. But yeah, they'll still bring it.
Yeah, they always do. And the second seed in Pool B is the team that they defeated in the national championship game last year, the Orange County Bombers, led by Keith Rutherford, the head coach of that, or the president of that team. The Bombers, well, they lost Kenrick Tyrell to Austin, but they still have a very good team, very good young player in Scotty Phillips, Scott Leal, the old veteran. The Bombers made it to the grand final in Division I for the first time last year, and they've been playing really good football. They won the Western Regional titles, and I know you were out there in Sacramento for that, Tom. You were pretty impressed by them.
Yeah, they really pretty much the class of that tournament. Nobody really gave them much of a fit at all. So when they had everything clicking, they looked really well. They looked real good.
LA's given them a bit of fit the last couple of games, but the Bombers are coming in and they're looking to they've looking to exercise a little bit of demons from last year, but we'll see what happens. Third seed is your team, Tommy, the Denver Bulldogs, looking for their 9th national championship, but been a bit of a drought. They haven't won since 2009, I believe it is, and you're going to correct me on that. No, it's 2011, yeah. But they haven't made it to the grand final since then. I believe that's the longest drought in the Bulldogs' history.
Yeah, it is. Age catches up to everybody. I think that's been a big part of our letdown over the last few years. We're still in there, and I'm looking forward to see how it turns out.
Very good players, of course. Some veterans, John Candelaria, of course, Chris Candelaria rather, and John Candelaria was a pitcher, and Andy Vanica, and some young players, including defender Peter Taylor, lead the Bulldogs into battle. Rounding out Pool B, the Dallas Magpies, still exercising some demons from a couple of years ago, but this is a very, very good team and a very determined one, led by Bren Miller, Jack Odell, Craig Storer, and they can beat you a number of ways. The Magpies were the Division II champions at the Central Regionals. They have beat Austin twice of the last 6 weeks. They're a very good squad. They are very, very confident that they could pick off some of these teams at the top of the pool, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. It's being a down, I grew up in Texas, and I've always said there's a lot of talent down in Texas, and it's showing now. You've got Houston, you've got Dallas, you've got Austin, and all those teams are going to be very, very tough. I mean, if you look at those two pools that you've got now, this could be the first year you have two and one teams making grand finals, because any one of these teams can knock each other off.
I was going to say, Tom, you look at this, and there's probably, I want to say at least 7, but you could say really every team of these 8 have a chance at winning the grand final. I mean, it's going to be an absolute a classic, I think. It's not even just that the finals are going to be great, but just these pool matches. You look at New York versus Orange County, New York versus Dallas, Austin versus LA is going to be a good game. Just really, really good. You know, you could pick any team here and it would be a good pick.
Yeah, it's going to be as close as I've ever seen it at Nationals. There's always been those upper echelon teams that have really stood out, but man, this is going to be one heck of a Nationals.
Yep, really excited about that, and as always, it's going to be awesome, and I'll be up there calling it with Grilla. So there it is, Division 1, just to recap. In Pool A, Austin, LA, Calgary, and Golden Gate. Over in Pool B, it'll be New York, Orange County, Denver, and Dallas. Well, from Division 1 of the men, let's go to the Division 1 of the women. That's right, we're doing 2 divisions to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the first women's tournament, the USAFL Nationals. Both divisions will have one pool. It will be round robin, and then the top 2 teams will face off in the grand final. We'll have Division 2 in just a moment, but let's take a look at the 5 teams that will contest for Division 1. And Tom, we'll get your thoughts after we introduce all 5 teams. The top seed, well, team you're pretty familiar with, Tommy, the Denver Lady Bulldogs, the 5-time defending national champions, looking for number 6. They've won 21 consecutive games at Nationals, going all the way back to the year they won their first title in 2010. Captain Hallie Lee, Vice Captain Anna Thexton, and of course, probably one of the best players in the country in Tawania Clark. They're going to be very, very hard to beat. I know you know a fair bit about them because you've seen them train, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's been exciting watching those girls come up the way they have. When we had 3 girls at our first Nationals and see them come up like this, and you know, they have numbers in training. They're dedicated. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah.
And the skills have gotten so much better.
And I think you can say that across the board, and not just, I mean, the Bulldogs have gotten better and better, and you look at the other 4 teams that are contest this division. The second seed is the team that has lost to the Lady Bulldogs each of the last couple of seasons, the San Francisco Iron Maidens, but they have put together a very, very strong season behind Brett Brower, their ruckman, and Jessica Estrada, their captain. They've played very, very well. They'll be without Millie Bruce, who tore ACL in the East-West showdown up in New York, a tournament that the Maidens still went on to win, having traveled cross-country. They are a very good team. They are getting better. That program has gotten very well. This may be the year someone picks off the Bulldogs, but we'll see. The Iron Maidens have come the closest so far. Third seed in the women's division is the Minnesota Freeze, a program that has grown a lot over the last couple of years. In fact, they will be bringing 2 sets of ladies to the tournament. The other one will be playing down in Division 2. Kathy Oha and Brianne Tyson are among a very strong group and a very growing group. They're very balanced. They have a very balanced attack to the Lady Freeze, and they can kill you just about any ways. They are the 3rd seed in this Division 1 group for the women. The 4th seed, the New York Lady Magpies, having their best season in their history under new coach Christina Licata, who spent a good deal of time playing against these women. Now she's coaching them. Kim Hemingway is probably having her best season with in her young footy career, and the veterans such as Drea Casillas, of course, and good young players coming into the league and onto the team like Grace Coppola, as well as Heather Serpico in her 3rd season, playing very well. And finally, rounding out this 5-team Division 1 is the Sacramento Lady Suns. They too are growing as a program, but they have a couple of bright young starlets in Katie Klatt, who's the vice captain of the USA Freedom National Team, as well as Lorraine Quokka as well. So 5 very, very good teams. Tom, I know you've watched and you follow the USA Freedoms program, as well as the Liberty. this is going to be a very, very good tournament with some very, very good talent.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. I remember we out there at the Western Regionals. I'm out there watching for potential Revolution players, and I caught myself watching the women's games. The flow is so much better than it was the last time I watched the women's game. And to see Sacramento and San Francisco go at it, and then to see Sacramento out here at the end against Denver, it's just improved. It's going to be really exciting to watch that.
Yeah, very, very exciting, and it'll be a great tournament, especially since all 5 of those teams are going to play each other in Austin. All right, let's head back to the men now. Let's look at Division 2. Same format as Division 1, 2 pools of 4 teams each, with the winners advancing to the grand final on Sunday. We begin with the top seed overall in Division 2, the Columbus Jackaroos. Clyde Simpson, Chet Ridenour, and the rest of the Jacks have had a very, very, very impressive season. They are coming off 3 straight road wins at Philadelphia, at Nashville, and at Cleveland. And you look at those 3 teams, Tom, and there's not a whole heck of a lot of talent. Well, I'm not saying a whole heck of a lot of talent, but they're all lower division teams. But at the same time, this is a very good team with very good players, a couple of whom you coach.
Yeah, they are really coming on. The only difference between them and the Division 1 teams, they just don't have the Australians like some of the other teams have. That's really the difference. They're Americans who give anybody out there.
Yeah, they're mostly American. I think they have a handful of Aussies, but they're mostly American outfit, and we're seeing a trend in that across the USAFL. Second seed in Pool A are the Boston Demons, who have had a strong season. Their biggest win of the season came in Chicago against the Swans, where they won pretty handily there, led by Rusty Smith and by Mike Shepard. The Demons, they've gone from top of the country down towards middle a little bit, but they have really strengthened over the last couple of years to put together a formidable Division 2 side.
Yeah, it's good to see them back. They were perennial Division 1 for a long time, and it's good to see them coming back.
Division 1 titleists in 1999 were the D's. The third seed are the defending Division 3 national champions, the Sacramento Suns. Matt Bishop coaches this team of, they're a little bit of an upstarts. They've played very well. They're a very determined team, led by Saleh Tayyibji, who, for my money, is one of the best defensive players in the game. Tom knows this as well as anybody because, he pretty much did a good deal of the defensive work. Not to say that, but he did a lot in the USA Freedoms win against Canada down in Fort Lauderdale. But a good team full of good talent, Tom.
Yeah, it's the same thing I just talked about with the Roos. They've got some of the best Americans going, and they've got a really good club going down there too. So I expect them to do very well in that pool. Yeah,
they have a very good club culture there. Again, the Bishops are really building that both on the men's and women's side. And rounding out Pool A are the Fort Lauderdale Fighting Squids. Now we're hearing that they may possibly drop down to Division 3 because of with traveling number situation. This, of course, will keep everyone up to date on the website. But the Squids are the Eastern Regional Champions. They played some good football during the season, and they have some good American players too, led by their president and coach Tom Hecker. Tommy, this is, it's funny. Fort Lauderdale has been sort of lying in the weeds a little bit the last couple of years, but they've played good football this season.
Yeah, we had a few of their guys play on our development squad, and they were outstanding. I think it's just a matter of time to get those guys together, and they're going to be somebody to deal with.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens if they stay up in Division 2 or if they drop down. So, like I said, stay tuned to the website and all of our outlets. We'll keep you up to date. So, Pool A, Division 2, Columbus, Boston, Sacramento, and Fort Lauderdale. Over in Pool B now, the second overall seed and the top seed in Pool B are the Minnesota Freeze, dropping down from Division 1. Brett Mergen, Tiger Werner in there as well. Just like the women's side, a very balanced side with good players. And Minnesota over the last decade has been up. They've been right up there with some of the best teams, and they were Division 2 national champions back in 2012. And Tom, I know you know their coaching staff and their players very well because they always seem to really contribute at the national level.
Yeah, Jason is a great coach. He's been around since I've been around. I mean, we've been together since 99, 2000, and They play a really good brand of footy. I love the way Minnesota plays. They're one of the only mostly American teams that know how to go backwards with the ball. I think so. They definitely have some of the best teams, or some of the best Americans out there.
And they play good team footy, and that's very important if you're going to succeed at this level. Second seed in Pool B are the Houston Lone Stars, and this is a team they won the last time that this was in Austin back in 2013. They won the Division III National Champion. Some will say under controversial circumstances, but nonetheless, they have stood toe-to-toe with Austin and Dallas, two of the better teams in the country, two Division I sides. They have good talent led by Jesse Carcamo, and they too are building a very good club down there in the Energy City, Tom.
Yeah, I saw them out there at the Central Regionals. Obviously, they didn't travel as well as they could have, but the talent down there is just crazy. If you watch some of the videos from those games, you can see it.
Yep, and like I said, they do play a good club brand of football. They're growing as well. They're getting some Australians in there as well, some to mix in with the American talent from all the colleges down there in Texas. Third seed in Division II, the Chicago Swans, Pony Wilhelm and the Swannies, who were Division III national champions back in 2012. The Swans have gotten the better of a couple of teams on the road, including Minnesota, and they too play a good style of team football. They have, they too have a bit of a mix, it seems like, between Americans and rather Australians, Tom. But looking for the 1 year where they'll finally put it together.
Yeah, I think you said that pretty well. I'm looking forward to seeing how they play against the other teams on that side.
I think they have an outside shot. If you want to talk about a dark horse, I think the Swans are it. I think they're better than a lot of people give them credit for. And rounding out Pool B are the Quebec Saints, another bit of a mystery team, but they have a number of players on the Canadian national team, including famed Canadian Ronan Shaughnessy. The Saints did play Boston earlier this season. Boston actually beat them in Montreal, but they always bring a solid side to this team. Much like Calgary, a little bit of a mystery. They play more of a metro style and then form together to form the Saints, but they should maybe give a couple of these teams a hard time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it, especially watch some of their Canadians play.
Indeed. So here again is Pool B: Minnesota, Houston, Chicago, and Quebec. And as we look at all 8 teams here, Tom, Pool A is sort of, Columbus you would think is the favorite, but you can't really count any of the other teams out. And over in Pool B, well, that may be wide open too, it seems.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how who travels, how it comes down to it, but anybody on that side can take it.
Yep. And Columbus, of course, looking for their third consecutive trip to the Division I National Champions, Division II National Championships. They won the grand final in 2013 before losing to LA last year. All right, back to the women for their Division II. Now, Division I was all full sides. These are all going to be combination sides. There are 4 teams competing, again, a round robin with the top 2 meeting in the final on Sunday. As we said, all combination teams. The top seed is the Calgary Kookaburras and the Boston Lady Demons. This will actually be a fun side to watch. The Kookas have a number of players on the Northern Lights national team, including Rochelle Chabot, and the Boston Lady Demons, of course, will have the services of Jessica Wuchner from the Western Bulldogs and also from the East Fremantle Sharks over as part of the USAFL Australia Player Exchange Program. They've been very fun to watch back in the Eastern Regional Tournament down in Reston, Virginia, as well as the East-West Showdown, and Wuchner's presence is really making their players play better, and they've got some good players, including Alicia Olsen defensively, so it'll be a fun team to watch and see how they play in this group. The second seed is a lot of combination of a few teams here: the Columbus Gillaroos, the Baltimore Washington Lady Eagles, the Portland Sockeyes, and the Chicago Swans. A lot of players put together, but this will also be a fun team to watch. Some good players from Portland, including Simone Shepard. Baltimore Washington will have Sam Schultz as well as Emily Reel, and up-and-coming players from Columbus. The Gillaroos really making a resurgence in that club as well. They had 1 year of hard knocks last year as they were all getting their feet wet in the sport, but the Gills will Erin Maidecker and Stacia Waddle among those players who are making a bit of an impact for the Jill. So that'll be a fun team to watch, watching all 4 of those teams play together as one unit. Next up, the Arizona Lady Hawks and the Tulsa Buffaloes. A number of players from the Tulsa side, 1 or 2, including Chelsea Vance, with the Arizona Lady Hawks, who have a lot of new players, a lot of new faces to the game, but have been good enough to be considered for the Liberty side, including Valerie Barber-Axthelm, who played very well in the Liberty game in Fort Lauderdale, as well as Lindsay Roberts, who was selected for the team but did not play because of knee surgery. She should be available for this tournament, so that'll be a fun team to watch as well. And finally, the Minnesota Freeze Reserves and the Montreal Angels. The Freeze run very, very deep. As we said, by player, they're the largest women's club in the country. And then the Angels with the Legault sisters, or the Legault family. Margot will be playing. Amy is still in Australia, but some good players, including Valerie Bureau. So a lot of good talent here. So this should be a fun division in this Division 2. And Tom, it's very good to see all these teams come out and there be enough for there to be 2 women's divisions in this, the 10th year of women's footy at the Nationals.
Yeah, I'm loving to see how you're seeing these teams that are matched up with the men's teams. That's the best way to grow a club. It was really good to see Tulsa on there with the women's team. It just helps your club, so it's great to see.
Yeah, in Chicago as well. Amy McGinnis leading the way there in Chicago for the Swans. And like I said, there's been rumors. I know Dallas was talking about getting a team together, as was Houston. So we'll hopefully see more single teams going forward, singular teams. All right. Let's go back to the men now. We'll go to Division 3. We begin in Pool A, and again, 2 pools of 4 winners play each other on Sunday. Top seed overall in Pool A, the Tulsa Buffaloes have moved up from Division 4 to Division 3. This is a bit of a surprise. Admittedly, they are a very good team for being around 3 or 4 full seasons. Shane Hood is on there, as well as Dustin Brazel, who leads this team. And they, too, doing it mostly through Americans. In fact, I think they're doing it all through Americans, but bit of an interesting pick. I think they'll perform very well in Division 3, Tom. I know you've seen them a couple of times.
Yeah, we have. And just outside of playing against them, they're a great bunch of guys.
Yeah.
I love hanging out with these guys after the game.
Yeah.
But they play hard. I mean, one of the guys that we had, Chris, played with us, went down there, was a tight end for Wyoming and picked the game up later on.
Yeah.
And so, you've got some really good players down there.
Yeah, they're very, very good. And Jonathan Showman's another player who played on the, I believe he played on the development team for you, Tom. Yeah, very good bunch of guys, and good to see the sport growing there. I think they have enough to where they're talking about forming a second club in Oklahoma City. They do play that as part of a sort of a metro inter-squad game, but very, very good to see the sport growing in Oklahoma. Second seed in Pool A, the Philadelphia Hawks, team that has very, very quietly gotten better, really sort of become a little bit of a resurgence, led by Ryan McGettigan, Alex Lydon, their big ruckman, and coached by John Loring. They lost to Sacramento in the Division 3 final last year, but the Hawks have taken a few teams by surprise. They always play it tough. They beat Baltimore Washington 2 out of 3 in during the regular season this year. My old club, Tommy. You've known John Loring a long time. We've know that. It's good to see him and good to see the club coming back as they have been.
Yeah, absolutely. They got some great players there, and John's been around a long time. He'll get those guys going in the right direction. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, and they always seem to play better, I think, in this tournament format, so we'll see what happens. Third seed in Pool A are the defending Division 4 national champions, the North Carolina Tigers. Paul Duncan and company leading the Tigers, and again, this is another team. They may not always have the results, but they always play it tough. They always play good, hard football. I personally am glad that to see them win Division 4 last season. They too are a good bunch of guys, and they should make some noise here in Division 3.
Yeah, I still playing him in 06, and I can still feel the bruises. So, I mean, that's never an issue with those guys.
Yeah, not at all. And rounding out Pool A are the Ohio Valley River Rats. Of course, that is a combination of the Louisville Kings and the Cincinnati Dockers that they've been playing together since the 2008 tournament. They won 4 Division IV national champions before moving up to Division III last year and going 1-2. Sleepy Floyd is in there for the River Rats, another guy you know pretty well, Tom. But this team is another one. I think a lot of people just don't really notice them that often, but they're a lot better than some think.
Yeah, they definitely have some talent. It'll all come down to travel like it is for some of these other teams. So we'll just see how they go.
Yep, and I mean that's how it is. I know Philadelphia is gonna just get to enough players to field a full side. Tulsa, I think, is the same way. North Carolina, they've had issues with that in the last couple of years, but I think this will be an entertaining pool. Tulsa, Philadelphia, North Carolina, and Ohio Valley in Pool A. Moving over to Pool B, the top seed is the Portland Steelheads, Martin Coventry, Terry Brash, who is just coming back from Australia. This is another team that we've said it a few times, but is really growing as a club, especially in a city such as Portland, where something like this can thrive. They really have improved, and this may be the year that they play, that they break through in Division III.
Yeah, I love. We've gone out to Portland a few times. Just playing there is awesome.
Yeah.
But their leadership, you can't ask for better leadership. So I expect them to do very well.
Yeah, first of all, it's a great city, and it's good to see the sport picking up there in Portland. Second seed is the Nashville Kangaroos. Now the Kangas also going to be light on numbers. That's why they're playing down in Division III. They too are a very, very tough side to play against. They play physical but clean for the most part, and led by Evan Ling, the Colonel, and very good side. They're playing down a bit, Tom, but Tim Fullwider, Luke Nemeth, Misha Nemeth as well. They've got a good side.
Yeah, there's some talented guys in there that really know what they're doing. I expect them to do very well. I mean, Luke, he's the MVP of that game.
Yeah.
Just by how hard he goes at the ball, and it's always ball because it just goes right to the ball. So we'll see how they come out.
Yep. And I think they'll pose a challenge to these other teams here, and they may even walk away with the group. But these other 3 teams will have something to say about it. Third seed in Pool B, the Des Moines Roosters, Tyler Kammerman, Hamilton May, and the rest of the Roosters played very strongly in Division III the last couple of years. And once again, mostly an American outfit, and thriving in a place where the sport can really take hold in the heartland.
Yeah, some of those guys in that team, I'll challenge somebody to tell me who the Aussie is and who the American is. They've got some really good, talented guys.
I didn't know they had an Aussie. Do they have an Aussie? I don't know. I guess they do. Well, Tyler, I'm sure, will tell me later.
You'll have to find out.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to ask him when we see him in a couple of weeks. So Des Moines is the 3 seed, and rounding out the 4 seed, the only reserve side in Division III, the Austin Crows B team. They've got a lot of talent at the top level, but this is a team that you can't really count out. We played the Hawks played them, I think it was 2 seasons ago in Austin. They played very well, but it's good to see Austin have enough guys to I think they're going to have something like 32 or 33 guys total. So it'll be good to see some of the next crop of Crows players play in Division III here, Tom.
Yeah, their leadership is really doing a great job of recruiting down there. Their numbers are outstanding. They brought 30-something plus to Denver when they played it, so they've done a great job.
Yeah. So and if they play as hard as the top team does, I think maybe they may end up at the top. So once again, there's a Portland, Nashville, Des Moines, and Austin. 8 very good teams here in this Division III, and this one may be wide open too.
Yeah, it's going to come down to travel and then injuries. We'll see how it turns out.
Indeed. All right. Finally, we have Division IV. This is the largest. I think this actually. I know they had Division I had 16 teams one year, but this is the largest pool we've had, largest division we've had since then. 4 pools of 3 teams each. They'll play 2 games on Saturday against the other teams in their pool. The pool winners will advance to the semis, and then the semifinal winners will advance to the final. Let's go through all 12 teams really quickly here in Pool A. In Pool A, we have New York B, Columbus B, As Los Angeles B side will play by themselves, and the combination of the Kansas City Power and the Cleveland Cannons, who just recently played their first home game with Del Vadoya, the basketball player, was there to watch that one. In Pool B, you'll have Calgary B and Milwaukee, as well as Baltimore, Washington. Surprising to see them all the way down in Division 4, but I know they've had an issue with numbers. They'll be paired with the Edmonton Emus there in Pool B, as well as the Golden Gate B side. Pool C, we'll see Orange County B and San Diego, and Dallas B and Austin B, a couple of the Texas reserve sides. That's actually going to be Austin's C team at this point because they're playing, like I said, Austin's B team's playing up in Division 3, so they'll have some leftover players from Austin playing with them and the Atlanta Kookaburras. And finally in Pool D, we'll have Seattle playing with Portland B team. The Denver B team, some other Tommy's boys will play with the Indianapolis Giants, and then the Houston B side playing with the Baton Rouge Tigers. What I love about this, Tom, so many is that the inclusionary spirit of the USAFL. A lot of these guys, teams can travel with 30, 40 guys in some cases, and even the teams that don't have enough, they still get a run here in Division 4.
Yeah, I think that's the important part of this, is make sure that these guys get a run. These guys are spending a lot of their money to get down here. We've got to make sure they get game time.
Indeed, and Division 4 games are always fun to watch too, and it's good to see, especially guys who've been around a lot. I know some of the older guys, they still toil in Division 4 and they play. I know a rich man from Denver and a couple of the other guys play in Division 4. You never played in Division 4, did you, Tommy? Good for you. Well, we know you've got bigger fish to fry there, coaching Denver up in Division 1. So yeah. Well, that's it. That's gonna just about do it. Listen, thanks so much for joining us, and Tom, thanks so much for being here with us. Appreciate your insight here.
No, really looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on. Nationals is always a great time to compete. It's also a great time to see old friends.
Indeed. It's good to see everybody out there, and we hope to see you. For more information on the Nationals, and as we get closer over the next 2 weeks, you can join us on our website, www.usafl.com. You can join us on Facebook at facebook.com/USAFL, and you can, of course, follow us on Twitter at USAFL1997. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you in 2 weeks in Austin. Enjoy the grand final tomorrow night. For everyone here, this is Brian Barrish wishing you good footy watching.